Greetings everybody, Fuko here. In this video I want to show you the best maps, the best regions and sometimes the best animals to farm every standard resource in the Ark game. And just as a heads up, I will skip stuff like stone and wood and thatch. Those are the basic ones. Everybody should know that you hit stones with a hatchet and a doedicurus, or how you find a tree. So let's go straight into it. The first is flint. The flint is a standard resource you need for spark powder and stuff like this. The best current tame to farm tons of flint is the Fasolasuchus. Get yourself one of those on Scorched Earth and just dig into the ground and destroy tons of normal rocks that fill you up with flint in a very, very fast time. The next is metal. The best map to farm metal is still Aberration in the blue biome. The blue biome is completely overloaded with tons and tons of metal nodes. All of these stone formations you see here in this video are metal and you get tons from it. The next is salt. You can find salt deposits on Scorched Earth in the dunes. You can see them from far away. It's these little spots in the empty dunes. Next is polymer. You find tons and tons of polymer in the Drake Trench on Aberration. It's a dangerous region, but it's worth it. You can completely fill your inventory with tons and tons of polymer. Next is sand. To get sand, you just have to go on Scorched Earth or the Desert Dome in Extinction and fill your doedicurus up with stone and sand. Next is sulfur. Go to the sulfur fields on Extinction and hit the yellow rocks. These will drop tons of sulfur for you to use. Next is crystal. You have multiple options for crystal. One, you could go on the island map to the volcano. There are tons of crystals in the volcano crater, but there's also Extinction. You can use your doedicurus to farm these lampposts in the old city and get huge amounts of crystals from that. The next are the Aberration crystals to make element on Aberration. The green crystals are in the standard spawn zones of the green biome. The blues are in the blue biome and the red ones are in the red biome. Although there are some red crystals that actually spawn in the blue biome for the people that are fast or play on single player, because these are usually farmed very frequently. You can find them at these locations. Next are the crystal variants that are on Extinction. You can get the blue crystallized sap from these whitish trees in the wastelands, and you can get the red crystallized sap from the red mutated trees that spawn throughout the wastelands, and especially in the very dangerous red zone. Next are Silesia pearls. Silesia pearls are usually found in water, but you can also get silicate, which is over water. A good spawn to farm tons and tons of Silesia pearls is on center in the central lake, because there's no Mosa or Tusoteutis spawn in that central lake under the floating island. You only have to deal with a few megalodons. To farm silicate on Extinction, you have to go to the red zone, to the very dangerous one, where the corrupted creatures all spawn, and farm these silicate rocks. You get a lot of silicate from it. You can use a Ankylosaurus or a chainsaw. Both works well, but just be ready to get ambushed, like me in this video. Next are black pearls. A really good spot to get black pearls is on Aberration. Also in the Drake Trench, just at the spots where also the huge polymer deposits are. This is also the same spot where you find all the element or spots that you can farm to make element on aberration. A really good spot is in the big skeleton. Just be ready to get ambushed by rock drakes. Next is element. Element dust, element shards, and pure element. Nothing can beat the element veins. They are relatively easy to do. You don't need much to do an element vein. You have 3 different difficulties. You have the 5000, the 25,000, and the 50,000 element vein. All have different element loot, of course, and spawn different strong animals, but even the 50,000 only really needs a strong Rex, or even less. So get on to farm element. Moving on to the organic resources, we have the gas, which spawns on aberration. You have these little geysers in the ground that you have to put the gas collectors on. And over time they collect the gas for you. Next is oil. There are a lot of spots where you can farm oil. It really depends on what map you want to actively play on. On island, I would take a recources and farm the huge amounts of oil veins in the deep sea underwater regions. If you play on Scorched Earth, put as many oil collector pumps as you can on the oil pumps and just see tons and tons of oil collect over time. If you play on Extinction, you can farm the city enforcers and defense units to also get a lot of oil. Next is fur. You can get fur from pretty much every snow biome creature, but the by far best 2 creatures to farm fur from are Uranus, which drops a crap load of fur, and getting yourself some ovies, which can also be farmed for huge amounts of pelt. Next is silk. You can get the most silk by slaughtering butterflies on Scorched Earth and the Desert Dome on Extinction. There are other plants that drop silk, but by far the best resource harvesting yield is from the butterflies. If you want to farm huge amounts of hide, get yourself a good Terizino, farm it completely in delicate harvesting and use its bite attack on your prey that you want to harvest. The by far best way to farm huge amounts of cementing paste from my very own experience is go to the island swamp cave with an imprinted, well-trained frog, Beelzebufo, and just clear the entire cave of all the Meganoira and get huge amounts of cementing paste. But you can also farm chitin in the many island caves or just slaughter tons of Carcinus on aberration. Organic polymer, use a Pelargonus and farm huge amounts of penguins. The babies give the most amount of organic polymer. Also, corrupted nodules can be used as an exchange for organic polymer. If you are playing on aberration mostly, farm the Carcinus crabs. These drop huge amounts of chitin and organic polymer. Bees are in a weird spot right now. You have to either tame yourself a bee and place the honey, the colony on the ground. But if you have a bit of patience, when Crystal Alts comes out later this year, you can just put down a little base right at a natural bee cave and farm tons and tons of honey there. Next is Kibble. Tame yourself some dodos and dilus for the basic kibble, raptors for the simple kibble, turtles for the regular kibble, Argentabes for the superior kibble, Terizinos for the exceptional kibble, and a bunch of Keratosaurus for the super duper mega kibble. Extraordinary was the name. I hope you guys liked the video about the Ark resources. I'm Fuko, see you next time.